Hey there, we'll wait about 5 minutes and then we'll get started. Okay, unmuted everybody, so if you'll each mute yourselves, that would be wonderful. And we'll wait for just a minute to make sure everybody's joining us. I see Sarah. Mark, are you 4100?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so it's 1 p.m. and we will go ahead and open this special meeting of the Lake County Board of County Commissioners. Today is April 16th, 2020. We have a short agenda today. On our agenda, we have the Lake County Community Fund funding request for the disaster fund, airport bid selection, pavement management system contract, and Kimley Horn Engineering for County Road 9. With that, I will make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Second?
Okay, any further discussion?
Nope.
You good, Commissioner Glenn?
Yes.
All right. So with that, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Wonderful. So we have on the line with us today, John McMurtry from the Lake County Community Fund. So John, if you would like to give us a rundown of the Disaster Relief Fund before we officially take a vote on it, that would be helpful.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. The Disaster Relief Fund, as you may or may not know, is a fiscal sponsored fund of Lake County Community Fund. And this was established a couple of years ago during the fire season, never having predicted that we'd ever have a pandemic to deal with. But in the short time, the past month, we've sent out requests for fundraising, and we've been able through the way we're structured, the Disaster Relief Fund is managed by Kaylee Ham, Director of the Lake County Office of Emergency Management, and Colleen Nielsen, Director of Lake County Public Health. And this was established, like I said, a couple of years ago during the severe fire season that we had. And now with the pandemic, we're functioning at full speed. The funding that we've raised so far, we have had 45 donors from Lake County and a couple from outside of Lake County that have contributed. We're over 21,000 at this point from just individual donations. Included in that is a grant from the El Pomar Foundation of 2,500. We've working together. We have a committee which meets on an almost daily basis to decide how the funds are to be distributed. And we refer to it as the Unmet Needs Committee. And they screen applicants. Part of that is the Lake County Build a Generation Full Circle, along with Colleen, and then Gloria Perez is on the committee. Eudalia Contreras is on the committee, and Carla Alder. And those 5 individuals make the determination they take the applicants and make a determination of where the funding goes. First, they are evaluating if they are eligible for disaster temporary assistance for needy families, or TANF relief, and then also supplemental nutrition assistance program, SNAP. Once those are accessed, then the applications fall into our Unmet Needs Committee, and they determine where the funds are going. And as you can imagine, with unemployment and that's hit our county, the needs are great. We just received notification that the city of Leadville has committed to a $20,000 grant, and also Lake County Build a Generation and Full Circle have received each a $25,000 grant from the Colorado State COVID-19 Fund. So that's kind of where we are right now. We anticipate, I don't know if Katie Baldassar has called in, but we anticipate that our right now, with the needs that are coming in, that we are, we're going to right now burn rate of 40,000 a month, and looking forward, it's going to be $40,000 to $60,000 a month that we're going to need for the funds. So I think you have a request that we're requesting $20,000 grant from the Lake County Community Government for the Disaster Relief Fund. Any questions? Oh, there's Katie.
Katie, can you give us any additional information?
Yes. Is there anything specifically that you'd like to know?
I don't know that I have any specific questions. Does anybody else on the line have any specific questions for Katie or John?
I am fully supportive of the commitment to the community fund. Katie, I wonder, are your funds from Full Circle and BAG going to all the efforts that you all have been so great in participating in thus far, or are those getting allocated elsewhere to different needs than the community fund?
So the way we've kind of divided the model that we've created, so I'm going to answer your question, but in kind of a roundabout way. The short answer is yes. Both Full Circle and Build a Generation are lucky enough that our existing funders have allowed us to reallocate our time to COVID-19 and our existing funding. So any additional funding that we bring in for community support, both of us have committed to 100% of that goes back to the community to meet immediate needs. So the way we've kind of been splitting it up or messaging it, because many of the ways that in the state of Colorado, a lot of the big funders have come together and created like the COVID-19 Community Relief Fund. And the way that works is the maximum amount you can apply for is $25,000. And so it behooved us to have multiple organizations apply for $25,000 each, which is what we did. And there's a couple of other funds that are kind of set up that way as well. And so what we've kind of done, although it doesn't quite work out this way, but mostly Build a Generation is asking for housing support. Full Circle's been asking for utility support, and then the community fund's been saying, hey, we'll take other human services needs. As John explained, we've set up a no wrong door approach. So the idea is all the agencies work together. Requests come in from multiple ways. People can call any of our organizations. They can fill out the Google form. They can call 211. And all that information gets funneled to the same place. We evaluate whether we can meet their needs with public assistance, with government funds. And then if we can't, this committee of 5 people meets, which is Kaylee, Colleen, Udelia, Carla, Gloria, meets once a week and distributes funds. And then, once they approve the funds, then those requests come back to DHS, Public Health, Build a Generation, or Full Circle. And we work, it's actually quite a bit of work to track down the utility bill and the W-9 and the rent bill and all of that information so that we can pay those bills. And then DHS is sort of covering case management. So they're regularly checking back in with folks and saying, okay, we helped you in April. Has your unemployment check come in? Do you need help in May, etc.
One thing that I think is,
and when the committee,
I was just going to say, one thing I think is helpful that you mentioned is that you do pay those bills directly.
yes, all of the funding, whether it's disaster TANF or funding that we have, it just goes to paying the exact, the bill, and we'll pay,
to the vendor.
Yeah, to the vendor. Mostly it's renter utilities. I think DHS has helped with like a car repair. So there's a handful of other needs, but most, definitely the bulk. The research, the data that we have so far, conservatively, we'd say about 136 families have asked for help. Of those families, far and away the biggest need is housing, followed by utilities, followed by food. And as you guys are aware, I think part of the reason food isn't coming up so high is because St. George's and the school district are doing such a good job of stepping in and meeting that need already. Yeah, and then the committee really tries to evaluate, when they're spending funding, they're trying to think, okay, what, so let's, first of all, let's spend our restricted funding first, because we would hate to have a whole bunch of money left over for utilities, but only rent bills to pay. So they're trying to spend that money first. If it's a renewable source of funding, so we can reapply for that statewide COVID-19 relief fund. We also try to spend that money. We, any money like the community fund takes a 5% administrative fee quarterly. So we're trying to spend that money first so that more of it goes out to the community. So really trying to be thoughtful about, how do we spend our funding in the best way possible to meet the most need. Another thing that we're doing at Build a Generation, when we pay a rent bill, we are, if the landlord is amenable or open to having us pay 90% of that bill, and then we're able to give them a donation receipt for the other 10%. That allows our money to go a little bit further, and just one more way to try to stretch the resources as much as we can.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Glenn or Commissioner Mudge, do you have any other questions or at this point?
I have nothing.
No, I don't. I'll move that we approve the donation of $20,000 to the Emergency Management Fund, Emergency Relief Fund.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Mudge, seconded by Commissioner Glenn. Any further discussion at this point on the fund or the donation?
No.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Glenn, do you have anything?
I have nothing.
Okay. With that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you, John and Katie, for taking the time to be here. We do appreciate it, and thank you for the work that you are doing in our community. I am very, very thankful for you guys putting your attention into this fund. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
thank-
much.
Thank you very
Katie.
much.
Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, commissioners. On behalf of Lake County, that's the best. Thank you.
Thanks. Moving on to the second item on our agenda, airport bid selection. Brad, Brett, Michael Irwin, Sarah, I think you guys have some information on this coming from Public Works. So if you guys want to run Commissioner Glenn and I through this, that'd be great.
So I think I'll take the lead on this. Good afternoon there, commissioners and fellow friends of Zoom. The airport is currently in the final stages of completing a previous runway grant. This bid opportunity is from the Airport Improvement Plan, the AIP plan. It's FAA entitled money that we get granted $150,000 per year, and every 4 years we share this with 3 other airports so that we get $600,000 money to do bigger, larger projects here at the airport. The apron is one of the projects that we defined as in serious need of repair and upgrade. We had a couple bids go out, or we had sent out bids. We got 2 bidders, APC Southern and United Incorporated, submitted bids for this project. The total dollars that we had available from this bid were the $600,000 entitlement money from AIP, in addition, which is a 90% funding agreement. The remaining 10% is granted as from 5% from the state, and the other 5% is a match from the county that was already obligated on the previous budget, so $33,000 each for a total of $667,000. The 2 bids came in. APC Southern was the low bidder for the 3 schedules that we presented. Schedule 1 was basically half of our apron out in front of our hangars that required a 2-inch mill and then replacement of that material to include tie downs. Schedule 2 was to seal coat all the remaining existing blacktop surfaces to preserve the longevity so we don't have to do any future work. And Schedule 3 was the 2 items of paving in front of Earl Beauvais' hangar and the Thompson hangar. APC's bid came in at $778,000, which is above the amount of money that we had initially. And then you have to also factor in the $93,000 for the engineering costs. If you looked at just Schedules 1 and Schedules 2, so that is the mill and overlay and the seal coat of the existing asphalt that we have out there, and we exclude the sections of asphalt to go in front of the Thompson hangar and the Beauvais hangar, which is the private tenant's ultimate responsibility to remove and replace. Our bid is at $628,000. So you add the 93, we're at $721,000 total. We have $667,000 available. So this was still $54,000 short. And my recommendation is to do schedules 1 and schedules 2 for the $721,000, and I'll explain how we're going to cover that $54,000 difference here real briefly. One of the opportunities that's been presented to us just in the last couple of days is the CARES Act, which is the COVID Aid Relief Emergency something or another act, and there's been several $billion let to all the airports across the country. The Leadville Lake County Airport is going to be granted $20,000 money for this in this effort. We can apply that to payrolls or operational costs or even existing contracts. So my recommendation is that obviously we'll take that $20,000 and use it to help offset some of that $54,000 that's overexpended. The remaining $38,000 that we will be short on is going to be reimbursed to us from the Thompson hangar. Dave Thompson himself, we will put down the pavement in front of his hangar, and his section of the asphalt is approximately $38,000 in cost, which leaves us at a zero balance for accomplishing both Schedule 1 and Schedule 2, which will add at least a decade to the life of the airport apron out here at this airport. So again, my recommendation is that we accept the bid from and provide the notice of award to APC Southern for the total amount of $628,000 plus the $93,000 we'll owe the engineers. And as I explained, we'll cover that $54,000 difference from the other two agenda items. Any questions?
I don't have any questions at this time. Commissioner Glenn, do you have anything?
I don't have anything at this time.
I'll move to approve or to award our apron contract to APC Southern for the airport, for the work on the airport apron. For schedules
Second.
1 and 2.
Okay, so
Second.
we have a motion on the table from Commissioner Mudge to award the bid for schedules 1 and 2 to APC Southern with the funding model as demonstrated by the airport manager. Correct, Sarah?
Yep.
All right, and a second
you,
by
Brett.
Commissioner Glenn. Is there any further discussion amongst the board on the current motion on the floor?
No, there's not. I would like to just add that Brett is working hard to keep in close communication with APC Southern, and we'll get them up here as soon as the weather allows to get work done on the runway. The runway work is going to be helpful in the continued response to COVID and offer more transport ability with fixed wing should there be a reduction in the helicopter and rotor wing transport services available. So we are going to work to make sure that this gets done at most efficiently for many reasons.
All right, thank you. With that and no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, so unanimous passage. Thank you, Brett, for being on
Thank
the
you,
call.
commissioners, for your support. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay, so next on our agenda, we have the pavement management contract. Michael and Brad, do you want to talk us through this?
I'll start real quick. Well, Brett, connect into the audio. This is, we talked about getting an assessment of our roadways to make sure that we maintain one of our most valuable facilities. And so this is just moving forward to get to get that assessment completed through the summer so that we can make a better plan in budgeting and long-term maintenance. Michael and Brad can give you, somebody is,
I fixed it. Brad, you can unmute your computer or your phone, but if we do both, then we have that high-pitched squeak there.
All right, I don't know how to do that, so.
we can hear you now.
We can hear you.
Unmute your computer, Brad or Michael. There you go.
All right, can you hear
Right.
me now?
Yes, we
We
can.
can.
Technology.
Brad, can you give us just a little bit of background, not too much, moving forward on who's going to be conducting the survey for the roads and the overall cost that you've budgeted for already?
Yes, pavement management made a presentation to the modular building up there on taking care and managing our roads pavement system. We did receive a bid, and I don't have that piece of paper, around 36,000. We had sent it to Chris, our legal, their legal, and we come back with a contract. So what we're trying to do is present this to give us an evaluation of our paved roads.
And in combination with Pub Works, we'll be able to better identify other, I'm sorry, I was distracted by a chat. Identify other needs and do more efficient upkeep. I'll move to approve the contract with pavement management for the assessment of Lake County roads.
I'll second it.
Right. So we have a motion on the floor. I just have a quick question. Is the city going to participate in this with you, Brad? Because I know that they had participated when we were getting the presentations done last year, preparing for this year's budget.
No, they opted out.
Okay. Any further discussion on the motion on the floor? No? All right. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so that will pass unanimously. Thank you, Brad and Michael, for doing that. Here, so our next item on the agenda, and our last item on the agenda, is Kinley Horn Engineering for County Road 9. Brad and Mike, do you want to talk through this, please?
I'll give that to Mike.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
We can hear you.
Okay, so this is a continuation of the project that was started last year to replace the existing culverts at the Arkansas River crossing at County Road 9, to actually put a bridge in there so that it would handle the water and we wouldn't have to close the road pretty much every year during runoffs. Last year it almost washed away. So this is to replace that, and then we're actually putting in 2 bridges there. This is the engineering to complete to get the layout for the bridges and the footers and formed for them. I'm not sure what group Greg Brunjack is with, but they are actually funding the bridges. The county does not have to fund the bridges. It's a grant from them to replace those because it affects the Arkansas River.
Yep, that's the Upper Arkansas River Restoration Project, and some of those EPA funds with NRDA and CPW to improve stream quality and connectivity. So yeah, I think that partnership, the cost of the bridges that entity is able to contribute is about $168,000 to the project. So it's a huge help and an awesome partnership.
Cool.
Yes, it is.
Awesome.
Okay.
So this is just for the
Question?
engineering of the bridge itself then?
Actually, the engineering on the ground layout, we've already got some of the engineering on the bridge. That's how we managed to order them at last year's prices, so that we would get a better deal than, you know, raising the prices for steel and everything this year. So it's like just a continuation of finishing layout and design plans and everything for the bridge.
Okay, cool.
Michael, what do you mean by the two bridges? Side by side so that it's an extra?
No, they're not side by side. They're in further down the road. There's another crossing that usually
Okay.
fills up with water. So it's just
Okay.
to carry the extra water load.
Okay.
We have about 7 culverts out there right now.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Awesome. That's great.
all right.
Okay. I'll move to approve the engineering contract for culvert work on County Road 9 with Kimley Horn.
Second.
Okay. So we have a motion from Commissioner Mudge, seconded by Commissioner Glenn, to approve the contract with Kimley Horn for engineering on the bridge work on County Road 9. With that motion, is there any further discussion among the board with the motion on the floor?
Did I mention that these are both in our budget?
Thank you. And a portion of the actual infrastructure itself is being covered through Upper Arkansas Restoration Project. So thank you for that. All right, so with that and no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sarah, did you vote?
Yes, aye.
Okay, sorry, I just couldn't hear you.
That's okay.
All right, so that is the last item on our agenda. Is there any further comments at this point?
Nope, our elected officials and directors meeting is at 2:30, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Everybody should have gotten an invite to that. If you did not get an invite to that, can you please email me or Sarah or Mark, and we can forward that on to you. It should be a Zoom meeting like this. So we'll see y'all at 2:30. And with that, we will adjourn at 1:30 p.m.
Thank you. Okay.